let's get back into the very wider conversation around Eurobond, because Ecobank Nigeria, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Ecobank Transnational Incorporated, raised the Eurobond market offering in Nigeria in February this year with $300 million paper of 5 years tenor at 7.125%. Now the sovereign in Nigeria is set to float its own $3 billion and up to $6 billion in global securities paper, even as Zimbabwe is also in the global market, which is much smaller size of $200 million US. Patrick Akiwota is the managing director and regional executive of Ecobank Nigeria and is in our studios to speak to the Eurobond market. Great having you tonight on the show.
Great to be here, Boason.
Thank you so much for coming. What is your assessment of the global market as Nigeria made this announcement of this multi-billion-dollar Eurobond offering?
Thank you. Last 2 quarters, we've seen the global markets rebounding from the very deep end of the COVID pandemic that plagued 2020. We're seeing, since the arrival of vaccines, a gradual opening up of the global economy, such that there's much more optimism now in the market, because we have learned that shutting down the economy is not the best way to handle a pandemic. We've seen support from sovereigns, ensuring that there is steady growth within the various economies. Supply chains have opened, and we have seen in sub-Saharan Africa renewed interest in the Eurobond market, in the international debt market. We've seen Benin Republic, we've seen Ghana, we've seen Cote d'Ivoire and Kenya all approaching the market with significant success. Oversubscription in each of them ranging from 200% to 300%, and an all-high Kenya close to 600 or 6 times oversubscription. So this is a positive period for major economies like Nigeria, which is the lead economy in Africa, to take advantage and invite the global community to hear our story, invest in us, and get good returns.
For you, what are the key factors to consider in a global debt offering? You've mentioned a number of countries, including Egypt as well, which did about $5 billion US just a couple of months ago. So the market is very liquid. Folks say there are easy money, very cheap money out there. Well, what do we look for in a global? What do you consider?
Well, you look at the fundamentals. That's the first thing. You look at what is the story of this economy. You look at Nigeria, the fundamentals are strong. Coming from the lessons that we've learned in being a fairly monoproduct economy, which was dependent on oil, we've since embarked on a journey of diversification that is beginning to show early fruits. Exports are improving. The AFCA also provides opportunity to expand that further. So you look at the fundamentals, you look at the openness of the economy, the transparency of reporting, and you look at the opportunities to enhance real growth, output, capacity improvement, and stability of policies. All these are factors that you look at with a view to participating in an economy like that of Nigeria.
So you think if you would do an investors conference call, you think investors will be looking at the PIA, for example, and perhaps the reporting of the NNPC as part of the confidence you talk about it in a particular economy as Nigeria?
Well, those are quite relevant, but I believe they will look at even more. You look at the rate at which the economy rebounded from the COVID era, which shows resilience. We saw in the last 2 quarters strong economic growth relative to same period last year. At half year, we were talking of 5% GDP growth year on year. And that shows very strong performance. We also look at the quantum of non-oil sector participation that is showing strong trends because of investments in infrastructure. We've seen road transport giving a lot of positive impact to the overall performance of the economy. The agri sector is coming in strongly. The electricity, the power sector are beginning to come in strongly, in addition to telecoms and information technology. And so the PIA is a further confirmation that the country takes very seriously providing the environment for clarity and stability of planning in the oil and gas sector. And that is a strong positive for the country.
But how would sovereign commercial borrowing such as this benefit the local markets and the economy in terms of, yes, what do you do? What would you do with your Eurobond offering? We've listed about 8 African sovereigns already in the market over the last 11 to 12 months.
Well, first, it allows Nigeria to access more foreign earnings or foreign currency. And that is good for the country because it deepens the external reserves of the country, allows more confidence in medium-term planning of the private sector. Second, it also allows a benchmark to be established in terms of how funding and investments are priced within the local economy. It also gives more room for the local economy to be able to breathe a bit more, because when the country itself takes on Eurobond, that portion is reduced from local country financing or public sector debt within the country. So all these factors play strongly to the benefit of the private sector and to the entire economy in Nigeria at large.
What are the key indices you will be looking for or like to see from the Eurobond offer as an investor? Yields and what other metrics, what are you looking for in an offer document during the book building period, by the way? Aside the fundamentals.
Yes, the fundamentals are very important. Beyond that, you look at what is the debt to GDP ratio. And for Nigeria, that is around the 30s, which means there is real room to invest further in enhancing that GDP performance. You look at the ratio of foreign currency debt to local currency debt as a means of determining the ability of the country to service further foreign currency borrowing. Again, in Nigeria, that's also in the mid-30s. So there is also room in that space for Nigeria to be able to demonstrate its ability to repay these facilities. Ultimately, it is about what confidence you have in an economy that is the biggest economy in Africa, with the best demography, with the opportunity for growth coming from a low level. All these are positives, and you want to look at the stability of policies going forward. These are the things that those in charge of this, I think the Debt Management Office and the Ministry of Finance will look at very closely.
Interesting that Ecobank, your bank has a robust experience in commercial global debt market offering. Tell me a little bit about this. You were in the market earlier this year when everybody's still enjoying their New Year holidays. You folks went to the market with $300 million barring the pandemic.
Thank you. Actually, we were the first banking entity in Africa to do that in 2021. And it comes from our long-term planning, our confidence in the economy of Africa. We're a Pan-African bank. And when we look at Africa, Nigeria is a major player. And very quickly, we understood that arising from a scenario of a pandemic and the all-time lows of 2020, it's time to look at the brighter side. And we stepped out for the $300 million US Reg 144 Eurobond offer, which met with very positive response from investors across the globe and within the country. We were able to attract more than 3 times in subscription. But we kept our discipline of doing just $300 million US because it's based on our plan for participation in positioning Nigeria as the leading export country in the Africa environment on the continent. And given our unique position as a Pan-African bank, it was very clear to us, and the market received that positively. Our experience also tells us that what is critical is have clarity on your strengths, be very frank about the weaknesses or the areas of concern, and how you intend to handle that effectively such that your positives always outshines the downsides.
Patrick Akinwoto, Managing Director and Regional Executive of Ecobank Nigeria, we thank you for your time and we wish you a very great weekend. Thank you.